This guy drove a beat-up pickup truck, took his own lunch to work, got his hair cut at a cheap barber shop, flew coach, bought his clothes off the rack. He was also the richest man in America. His name was Sam Walton, and the company he built out of a tiny town in Arkansas that most people had never heard of, Walmart, is now worth more than the entire economy of most countries on Earth. But here's the thing that gets me every time I think about this story. Sam Walton didn't just build a store. He broke every single rule that the smartest people in retail told him were unbreakable. And they laughed at him for it, right up until they couldn't anymore. Let's go back to 1962. Sam Walton wants to open a discount store. The idea is simple: sell stuff cheaper than everyone else and make it up in volume. He goes to the big retail guys and pitches the concept. They all tell him the same thing. Discount retail only works in big cities. You need population density. You need foot traffic. Nobody is going to drive 20 minutes into a small town to save a few cents on dish soap. Sam Walton looked at all that conventional wisdom and basically said, "Watch me." He opened his first Walmart in Rogers, Arkansas. Population? Not even 6,000 people. It worked immediately. Here's why it worked when nobody thought it would. Sam understood something the big retail executives sitting in their fancy offices in New York completely missed. Small-town Americans were getting crushed. They were paying more for everything. The local stores knew they had no competition, so prices stayed high. Nobody was fighting for the small-town customer. Nobody thought they were worth fighting for. Sam Walton thought they were worth everything. He built his stores where nobody else would go, and the people in those towns showed up like he was giving stuff away. Because compared to what they had been paying, he basically was. That was the insight. Not complicated, not genius-level strategy. Just go where nobody else is willing to go and treat the customer like they matter.
But the execution is where Sam Walton was genuinely different from everyone else. He was obsessed with cost, not in a greedy way, in a every dollar we save is a dollar we pass to the customer kind of way. He flew coach when he was a billionaire. He shared hotel rooms with employees on business trips. He drove that beat-up truck because he genuinely didn't see the point of anything else. And that culture, watch every penny, cut every unnecessary cost, never spend a dollar that doesn't help the customer, that culture ran through the entire company. Walmart's headquarters in Bentonville, Arkansas is famously plain. No fancy lobby, no expensive art on the walls, no executive suites with views, just functional. Because Sam believed that every dollar spent on making the office look impressive was a dollar taken from the customer savings. Most executives talk about being customer-focused. Sam Walton actually structured his entire life around it. Now here's the part that most people don't know. Sam Walton was not an overnight success. Not even close. He failed. Hard. His first store, before Walmart, was a Ben Franklin franchise in Newport, Arkansas. He built it into the most successful Ben Franklin franchise in the whole region. Then, his landlord refused to renew his lease because the landlord wanted the location for his own son. Sam lost everything he had built, had to start completely over in a new town. Most people would have been done after that. That kind of betrayal, after that much work, would have broken most people. Sam Walton moved to Bentonville, Arkansas, and started again, from zero. And this time, he made sure he owned the real estate. He made sure nobody could ever take what he built away from him again. That failure didn't just make him more careful. It made him unstoppable. Because after you lose everything once and rebuild from scratch, you stop being afraid of losing. And when you stop being afraid of losing, you start making moves that other people are too scared to make. By the 1980s, Walmart was growing at a speed that made the entire retail industry nervous. Kmart, Sears, JCPenney,
all of them watched this company from Arkansas expanding into their territories and couldn't quite understand how it was happening. Here's how it was happening. Sam Walton visited every single store, not just his own. He walked competitor stores constantly. He talked to their employees, he studied their layouts, he asked questions, he took notes. He once got arrested, not really arrested, but detained, for crawling around on the floor of a competitor store measuring the width of the aisles with a tape measure. He just wanted to know if their aisles were wider than his. That was the level of obsession. And his own employees knew that Sam might walk into any store at any time, not to check up on them in a threatening way, but because he genuinely wanted to know what was working and what wasn't. He asked employees for their ideas constantly. He believed the person stocking the shelf knew things the person in the corner office would never know. That turned out to be one of his most powerful competitive advantages.
Sam Walton died in 1992. Walmart kept growing. Today, it employs 1.6 million people in the United States alone. It is the largest private employer in the country. The Walton family is collectively the wealthiest family in America. And it all started because one guy decided that small-town Americans deserved the same prices that big city people got. That's it. That's the whole foundation. Not technology, not a genius algorithm, not venture capital or a Stanford dropout story. Just these people are being overlooked and underserved, and I'm going to be the one who shows up for them.
The lesson Sam Walton's story leaves you with isn't really about retail. It's about where you look for opportunity. Everyone goes where the crowd is. Everyone fights for the same customers in the same markets with the same strategies. Sam Walton went where nobody wanted to go. And the people who were already there were so grateful that someone finally showed up, they made him the richest man in the world. The opportunity nobody else wants is sometimes the biggest opportunity of all. If this story hit different for you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe, because every week we open up a story like this one. See you next time.